On a bright Tuesday afternoon, Susan made the biggest mistake of her suburban watchdog career. She targeted my little sister, Emma, not knowing Emma wasn't just a kid with chalk and a hoodie. She was the daughter of the man who owned the entire neighborhood. Me? I had popcorn, a phone, and a front row seat to Susan's unraveling. When Emma moved into Maple Grove, she kept it low-key. No flashy new neighbor signs, no la VYSH parties. Just a quiet girl with books, baking supplies, and a tub of sidewalk chalk. To most, she was harmless, maybe a bit artsy, always in oversized hoodies. But to Susan Thompson, she was a rogue sparking chaos with every doodle. Emma had been in the neighborhood 3 days when Susan first noticed her. Emma was kneeling by our driveway, sketching butterflies and sunflowers in soft pastels. It was subtle, barely noticeable from the street. But Susan, armed with a sun hat and binoculars, spotted it like a crime scene. She stormed over, her neighborhood watch captain pin gleaming, not official, just self-awarded. "Excuse me," Susan barked, adjusting her pin. "You can't do that." Emma looked up, one hand dusted with yellow chalk. "Sidewalks are public property. Defacement violates HOA rules." Emma blinked. "I'm just drawing butterflies." Susan scoffed. "This isn't an art studio." I watched from the window, sipping coffee, amused. Emma shrugged, said, "Okay," and kept sketching. Susan marched off, expecting sirens any second. By morning, a complaint was taped to our door in a plastic sleeve, like a corporate memo. "Unauthorized artistic displays violate HOA Section 3, Paragraph B," it read. "Ava, please address your sister." I'd known Susan forever. She once flagged me for non-approved blue curtains. But this? Next level. Emma wasn't fazed. She just grabbed green chalk and wrote, "Hi Susan, smiley face, by our mailbox." Susan lost it. That night, Susan held an unofficial meeting in her backyard, her loyal crew sipping cheap wine, clutching HOA manuals. She had a slideshow, blurry shots of Emma's butterflies labeled non-compliance and youth disruption. She called the art a gateway to urban tagging. I sat in the back, biting my lip to not laugh. Emma was home, perfecting her vanilla cupcake recipe, oblivious to Susan's crusade. Susan missed the big picture. She didn't know how Maple Grove worked, who funded the HOA, who approved its rules. She never wondered why Emma, living in a massive house, wasn't on any tenant records. She thought Emma was a nobody. She didn't know Emma was Mr. Bennett's daughter. Mr. Bennett didn't just run the HOA. He owned the company that built Maple Grove. Susan was poking a bear she couldn't see. The breaking point came on a Sunday. Emma hosted a tiny chalk session for 3 neighborhood kids, drawing cats and stars. It was pure joy until Susan called it an unsanctioned gathering. She live-streamed it on the community Facebook, narrating like a cop busting a cartel. "This is how standards slip." Emma smiled. "Want to draw, Susan?" I held a sign, "HOA meltdown incoming." Susan didn't notice, too busy ranting. That evening, Emma got a letter gold embossed from Bennett Properties. "Hope you're settling in. Need any bylaws changed? Love, Dad." Emma grinned. Should I tell her? I shook my head. Let her dig deeper. Susan's obsession grew. Emma signed up for the Maple Grove Spring Fair Bake Sale, the neighborhood's dessert Olympics. Susan ruled it with her bland, sugar-free scones. When Emma added her name under cupcakes, Susan's face twitched. "That spot's taken," she lied. Emma nodded, but submitted her entry online later. Ava Carter, household 42, cupcakes locked in. Fair day was chaos. Susan's table screamed try hard. Tiered stands, untouchable displays. Emma's was simply a wooden tray of cupcakes with edible flowers, flavors like peach rose and mint chocolate. By noon, Emma's were half gone. Susan sold 3 scones, one to her husband, Greg, under duress. When a city official raved over Emma's lemon cupcake, Susan snapped. She grabbed one, took a bite, and spat it out. "Mold," she declared. Emma calmly said, "They're fresh." The crowd whispered. Phones recorded. Susan escalated, demanding a food safety check. Emma showed her cooler and labels everything perfect. Then Susan tripped, sending Emma's cupcakes flying onto her own display. Frosting everywhere, Susan sat stunned. Greg muttered, "I told you to stop." Emma offered a napkin. "You okay?" Susan swatted it away. "This isn't funny." Emma replied, "It's kind of sad." I started a slow clap. Emma didn't win the contest. Susan's influence lingered, but the official ordered 3 dozen cupcakes for an event. Susan's next complaint arrived. Unauthorized business on HOA grounds. I laughed so hard I choked. Emma just baked more. Susan wasn't done. She targeted Emma's garden, neat beds of zucchini, herbs, and carrots, with a grow kindly sign. Susan called it unapproved agriculture, citing HOA rules. She set up a camera aimed at it. I waved daily, sometimes in a pirate hat. Susan circled with a tape measure, muttering about pest risks. I narrated her like a nature doc. The suburban hawk hunts basil. Things boiled over when Emma hosted another art circle. 5 kids, juice boxes, zero chaos. Susan stormed up, filming. Unregistered active Wi-Fi. Obstructing driveways. Emma stood. You can't film kids without consent. Susan ignored her, muttering about EVY Danke. A new notice called for an emergency HOA meeting. Susan arrived with a binder, photos, graphs, a timeline of Emma's crimes. The room filled, expecting drama. Susan's slides showed Emma watering plants, kids tripping over chalk-labeled hazards. People chuckled. Susan ranted about rules, but the crowd turned. Can't we grow herbs? Someone asked. Then the projector died. A voice cut through. Enough. Mr. Bennett stepped forward, suit crisp, gaze steady. Susan froze. I wasn't aware this was an emergency, he said. Household 42 is compliant. The garden's part of our green initiative. Emma's art circles? Exactly what we want. He smiled at Emma. She's our new youth liaison. Gasps. Susan's binder fell. Emma waved shyly. Thanks for the support. Susan tried one last push on email questioning Emma's role. But Mr. Bennett had planned it all. Emma's position was part of a broader youth program, tested through her garden and cupcakes. The next meeting was different, open, warm. Susan challenged. No vote for your daughter's role? Mr. Bennett replied, it's not favoritism, it's progress. Over-policing art isn't our goal. Emma added, you're not the VY Lane, Susan. Just not the star. The room stilled. Susan sat, silent. The board endorsed Emma. Susan was reassigned to events volunteer. She vanished for days. Greg dropped off chalk and scones, saying she's taking a break. Emma shared them with the kids, who preferred her cupcakes. Our garden flamingo, now Sir Felix, wore a daisy crown. That night, I asked Emma, youth liaison, Baker, Garner, what's next? She grinned. Maybe a lemonade stand. Keep her guessing. We laughed, the sound as free as her chalk butterflies. Susan once ruled Maple Grove, but Emma owned its soul.